Um, I've been incredibly fortunate that I've worked with tons and tons of really interesting artists, singers, bands, film score projects, albums over the years. Um, and it would be really hard to single out just one. I will say that when I moved to Los Angeles, 1997, and I was working, gosh, that's like 19 years ago. Um, when I first moved to LA, I was working as an assistant engineer at an amazing studio called Ocean Way in Hollywood, which used to be Great Western, which is where the Beach Boys worked, and I mean, incredible, incredible set of studios in Hollywood. And that was my first job in LA. And I will say that one of my very, very early sessions was with Eric Clapton,
Nice.
and it was a whole band playing together like the way they used to make records to a certain degree. And so it was Greg Phillingens on keyboards and Steve Gadd on drums and just Marcus Miller playing bass and producing, and arguably the best band in the world, or like just an insane, insane collection of musicians. Things would happen like the producer would say to Eric Clapton, "Hey, what do you think about putting some female background vocal, like a single background vocal on this one song. What do you think, Eric?" And her to go, "Yeah, I think that'd be good. Hang on, let me call Cheryl." And he just picks up the phone, dials a number, and it's Cheryl Crow. And she was a superstar at that time already. And she just came to the studio 2 days later, and she was completely cool, and she sang amazingly well, of course. She used to sing background for Michael Jackson at the beginning of her career, I understand. And like experiences like that, and I'm sitting there going, this is just
Yeah,
this is
Cheryl, of course.
yeah, just knew the number by heart, just dialed, called, and it was just and she was super cool, and Mr. Clapton was super cool, and it just everyone was just amazing, and everyone playing at the top of their game, and somehow I joined into the party. It was just unbelievable, and you know, when I was on staff at 20th Century Fox on the film scoring stage for 7 years, subsequently as their orchestral scoring recordist, and worked on tons and tons of films there. And the first Matrix film was also an unbelievable experience because we had never seen anything like it. The directors were super cool and happy to chat about their film and the groundbreaking film that The Matrix was. And I was just so honored to be a part of that team. It was just incredible. So there have been lots of pretty amazing oh wow moments in my life. But I will say, very importantly, I think it's in my nature. I think it's in my DNA. But I learned very early on, right from the beginning, day one. I think it's just who I am. I treat everyone exactly the same. Doesn't matter if you're doing a demo tape and you have no money and you've no name, or if you're Sheryl Crow and Eric Clapton. I treat you exactly the same way as a regular person, but with lots of respect and lots of politeness. That's just who I am. And that's really served me very well in my career and in my life. I think that's part of the key to my success. It may be accidental, but it's worked really well.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that it's important that when you're working with somebody, you try and keep that level. I mean, not only does it keep you from like geeking out, but it also can help you build relationships. I mean, maybe next thing Eric Clapton is like, hey, I got John. I called him, just like that, because it was such a nice experience. Because a lot of times, it's like when I talk to people, people say, hey, it's how someone treated me. Sure, it's great to have the gushing fan, but if someone just talks to me as a regular person, I remember that and I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's. I was actually trying to think earlier. I can't think of okay, maybe one example in 30 years of someone who clearly wanted to be treated like a diva superstar. You know what I mean? But one person who shall remain nameless in 30 years. Okay, maybe two. That's remarkable. I mean, I've met you too, and all these amazing legendary film composers, and people just want to be taken care of and liked, and they just want to have a good time. I think people are pretty much the same inside.
Well, I mean, I have to ask now. I know you can't say a name. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I mean, can you tell us a little bit about maybe what it was, what kind of diva stuff did this person want?
um, well, yeah. They wanted to record their lead vocal lying on the floor, which was incredibly hard. I don't know if you know microphone stands, but to try to microphone someone, like a mic's designed to be like here, and they wanted to lie on the floor in the pitch black and have the mic, and that was tough. And there was lots of. Oh, there was one other person who
Did
was
they
a
have
little.
a hangover? That sounds like so. Like, look, I'm really laid out, but I think I can belt this out. Turn down the lights and just put the mic next to my half dead body.
Yeah, it was someone who was an actor who was a part of a musical, and it's a long story, and I can't get into the details. Now that I'm thinking about it, okay, there have been a couple of eccentric people I work with, but you just have to smile and no problem, and sure, I can make that happen.